Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome in to another episode of the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I'm Rob, and I'm here with the one and only Cody.
Ooh, I like this. I like this better than Mario.
Welcome in, buddy. I'm so glad you're here with me tonight on the big Browns-Pittsburgh rivalry game. Yep. You excited for this one?
I mean, am. We're both and 2 nights in a row with Robbie. I'm more excited about that.
I mean, this is a dream come true. Let me tell you.
It is.
Let me tell you.
I'm messing up, though. I should really have my Browns gear on right now. I hadn't thought about it, but I made a big mistake.
I got my new hat. Just got this. I'm pretty pumped. Fits my...
Oh, it is?
So nice. I have... Funny thing.
Is it mesh back or is it solid?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to go trucker. Yeah. Yep. So I have like the tiniest forehead. It's like... It's super weird.
Like height-wise. Okay.
Height-wise. So every hat... there's like 2 or 3 brands that fit my head. I have to like seek hats that fit my head.
So is it that they sit too high above your head?
Yeah, I look like a
I have the same
head.
Problem. Yep, yeah. I have the same problem. Like a lot of hats like that, they'll prop up there, and I'm like, this just doesn't look like it does on other people.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So
yeah,
I'll send you a hat because this one fits perfect.
Is it nice?
I'm super excited about this.
It looks good too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What's the dotted eye? It's hard for me to see. Is it an Ohio like shape of Ohio?
It's a heart. So it's a brand. It's called. It's like a Cleveland brand company.
Oh yeah.
They're starting to get popular. It's called Ilthy. It's like filthy without the F. It's cool. I love it. They got some great stuff.
Yeah, looks great.
They put like a pop-up shop downtown. I was down there for dinner. Hopped in, grabbed a hat, kept on moving. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Cody, let's get into what we got going on tonight. So Thursdays, we're doing the late slate games. So kind of like the 4 o'clock Sunday games into Monday. We have 2 early games we still got to get to that we didn't get to last night. And that's it. We'll kind of get through this quick. We'll get to the Browns game. Like everyone knows, me and Cody.
We've got priorities.
Yeah, we're big Brownies guys. I got to go drink. Yeah.
People are, it's fortunate that we're even here.
I had tickets. I was contemplating because I went Sunday. I have season tickets.
Right.
So I went Sunday and I was kind of like, you know what, man, I think I need a week off after that debacle against the Jets. I was like, I just gave them to my brother. I was like, dude, here's my tickets. Like, I don't even want to go. So I'm taking and it's, this is kind of good for where we're at right now. It is like 40 degrees, rainy, and 30-mile-per-hour winds. So I'm not looking for any receivers or quarterbacks in this game, to be honest with you. I am, if I can adjust my lineup right now, you people go do it because ain't going to be a lot of air yards today.
Robbie and I were just talking before we came on, and I was working on my Fantasy Pros rankings, and I have been having nausea struggles, and Robbie was saying the same thing. Like, man, it's never really happened. You know, he's got the volume, but he's never been that guy yet. And I still pushed him up 2 spots just because of the weather. Like, they're going to have to lean on the run.
They're going to have to. And even the passing, like, it's going to be dump offs. So he'll get some, I mean, he's going to get a lot of volume tonight. I just traded him, so that's cool. Okay. Helmet being used.
Probably a good bet.
Plus 250 bet for a helmet usage.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's a Steeler on a Brown, so we don't have to go through that whole thing again.
Do that again? Yeah.
Okay. Little update. in news, it's Jameis Winston's dealing with a broken back.
4 places.
So Dalton might be coming in this week. Cody, what does that do for your Saints receivers, and even if Alvin Kamara's in there?
Yeah, I guess I'm interested to see if it ends up happening. I mean, he had this injury before last week, and he still played okay. So I'm curious to see if this actually transpires. But if it does transpire, Brian brought up a really good point last night with the air yardage with receivers, and you mentioned some of this, and that Jameis is such a receiver-centric quarterback. He doesn't lean as heavily on, his running back or tight end as some other quarterbacks do. And so going to Andy Dalton, it's a definite downgrade for those receivers. Now, it's not a panic button, sell, get out. But I think it has to be a downgrade. At this point, I think Jameis Winston's better for receivers than Dalton is. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a good connection right now with him, Michael Thomas, even Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
When a new quarterback comes in, you just don't know really who they're going to target. So
you don't.
I think it'll help Alvin Kamara out. Maybe, because then they might stack the box.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. And then Michael Gallup, it looks like he's going to play this week. Interesting. That was quick.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm less excited with the Dak injury. You know what I mean? So I drafted him a lot of places. Thinking, hey, a couple weeks, he'll be back. I've got IR slots. This is a perfect guy I can stash for the first few weeks. Like, it just all lined up really nice. And so I picked up Gallup in a lot of drafts.
Yeah.
I'm a little less excited. And I wasn't thinking I was getting a wide receiver too. I was thinking, hey, this could be a nice, bye week filling guy. He's going to for sure be back by bye weeks. Could be the perfect guy to flex in bye weeks. That's sort of what I was thinking. I can hide him on my IR for now. Obviously Dak will be back at some point this season. It's going to be a couple of months. But Cooper Rush takes away a little bit of the excitement for Gallup, even being a flex play for me.
Does this help CD?
Probably, which he needs it.
He does.
He's getting the targets. I think CD's got to help CD to some degree, though. It's not like he's not getting targets. He is just not performing.
He had a decent game. He just didn't find the end zone. Last week.
I don't remember how many targets. It was a big number again. I mean, maybe he caught 10. I was thinking 11, 7 for 11, or 7 of 11, maybe.
I think he had 7 receptions. Yeah. He had a good amount of yards. He just didn't find the end zone.
Yeah. It came later though. I was worried that we were getting another CD game, like week 1.
Man, that would have sucked. I have a lot of shares of CD, and I am scared.
I do too. You and I were the CD guys.
We were. I bumped him up so much, like right before I traded for him in our dynasty league with Mario. I bumped him up quite a bit, and then the whole thing went down with Dak, and it sucks.
I had him at 5 for the season, so we're not off to a good start.
No. Let's get into Colts versus Chiefs. Let's start with that. That's one of the 1:00 games. Pittman, I think it's still up in the air if he's going to play, unless there's new news that I didn't see.
Did he practice some yesterday? I can't remember what our
I think he was limited.
Injury update was. I think he practiced some yesterday. Even if he was limited, that leans me towards thinking he's probably going to play, but it's not a sure thing at this point. I agree.
Yeah. So if he's playing, him and JT, obvious smash plays.
That's it.
Anybody else?
Got to be it. It's just got to be it. Even if he doesn't play, I don't think you can start anyone other than JT. I mean, we got to see that experiment last week, and there wasn't enough there to say I want to take a shot on somebody.
Yeah. Let's flip over to the Chiefs.
Yep.
Patty Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at this point has to be a play. Anybody else? Like, what are you doing with the receiving core of the Chiefs?
I guess it's still Juju, but I don't feel good about it, man.
It's weird. Yeah, I think it's going to be game to game, which sucks for fantasy because
I'd rather just steer clear at this time for this receiving core.
I would think about trading Juju if I have him. I think
he has some value.
I still think he does, just being on the Chiefs and namesake alone. Right. I think there's going to be a lot of people in your league that would want to buy this offense.
And he was fine last week. Like, I think he was like 6 for 70, something like that. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's not a bad game.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Like if he's your 4th or 5th wide receiver, Would you maybe he'd probably be third or fourth?
He's in flex consideration, but I don't feel great about it personally.
Would you try to trade him for like a Travis Etienne?
I don't think you can make that trade, but I would. I guess maybe you can. Maybe I'm off my rocker, but
I just saw Etienne go for Tom Brady.
Wow.
Yeah,
people are bailing on Etienne big time.
Yeah.
I think Etienne probably still has more upside.
I do too.
But maybe I'm still being a sucker because I like him. A lot of us like him. Brian, you, myself. Maybe we're being suckers at this point because
maybe
there's nothing here saying that we should be interested in Etienne, honestly.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of movement soon, some sort, at least like be on the field a lot more targets.
Right.
That's the big, like, what the hell's going on is
right.
He's only got like maybe 8 targets in the first 2 games, which is not great. Texans.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me throw one other thing in on Clyde. You mentioned before we started Clyde's, what did you say? He's like 5th on the year?
Yes, PPR wise.
5th on the year PPR. He is the scariest 5th on the year guy for me.
Guess who's 6th?
This game last week, he had 10 touches.
Guess who's 6th?
Is it Gross as well, I assume?
Yeah.
Who would even be? I don't know.
James Robinson.
Oh, wow. And that's even in PPR.
That's PPR.
Yeah. Clyde only got 10 touches last week. 2 receiving touchdowns kind of makes anything else go away, but 10 touches, like there's other running backs involved here. Like Pacheco's getting work. Sometimes it's late in the game. That's true. But he's gotten significant work the last 2 weeks. And Jerick McKinnon is in the game. Like he's not
on the field. 40%.
Yeah, he's on the field. Right. And so he is probably the least touches for a top 10 running back. He's got to be probably.
It's wild. He's just finding the end zone. And again, that's the hardest thing to predict, to kind of bank on that he's going to get 2 touchdowns a game. It just, he's going to have to be like a Dame Harrison from last year, like 15, 16 touchdowns.
He does it differently, but I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
But just because he's only going to get 10 touches, 4 or 5 targets, like he has to find the end zone a bunch to be top 10 worthy.
Yeah. And this isn't a like bash CEH because I think CEH is probably going to be an RB2, maybe a low end RB2, mid to low RB2 this year. I think he's going to return good value for where he was drafted. So this isn't a bash CEH. I just want to be careful. And, when somebody starts making you offers, trying to offer you CEH, valuing him as, an RB5 through 10, be a little cautious. I don't think the touchdowns on the touches that we're seeing so far is sustainable at all.
Like if I have him, I'm shopping him as a top 10, trying to get.
Yeah. You want to be the reverse of that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But, if someone's selling him to you as, 10th RB value and you're like, well, he's RB5, I should buy this. I don't know. I'm not.
Be careful.
There. Yeah,
I'm with you 100%. I've always had concerns about this backfield. Kind of goes. It's just
the whole offense now. It just could be anybody. It's that kind of offense.
Patty Mahomes and Kelsey, and other than that, it's a scary offense. And then there's predict.
7 other guys that it could be any one of them a given week.
Yeah, for sure. Let's keep on moving. Texans Bears is the last 1 o'clock. Texans offense. Brandon Cooks.
He's a flex.
Yeah, he's solid. He's he's going to get, 10 targets a game.
He always finishes the year as a wide receiver 2, but I never want him as my wide receiver 2. You know what I mean?
He's always a decent wide receiver 2, like 15th. Okay, besides Brandon Cooks, anybody? I think you have to wait on Dame Harris. Or
Damian Pierce. Yeah, I think you got to wait. I mean, I think you definitely got to wait. Yeah, you got to wait. I agree. It looks good, but just in week 1, Rex had 14 carries. Now, Rex obviously didn't do that, but I think you got to wait.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Even Brandon Cooks, man, I'm looking this up as we're going. He's wide receiver 34th.
Yeah.
Right now.
Still a fine flex.
Still early. He's going to get the work. He's the only, Nico Collins is there, but other than those two, like who else are you throwing the ball to? Even the tight ends, like they're not doing anything. So
yeah, right. I agree.
And they're not throwing to the running backs.
And they don't throw the running backs. What I was going to say. I think both of them had one catch last week. Maybe Rex had a pair, but it was like not much.
Yeah. Bears. Anybody?
The Bears. The Bears. I wish if this is not a shot at your leading skills. It's just because as Mario knows where I feel, but he would be playing sad music right now for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the high Darnell Mooney guy. You guys talked me into Cole Kmet, and then I went for it. I'm like Cole Kmet. So I'm like Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet. They're getting 300 targets, 275 targets combined. I'm saying like this offense runs these two players. That's what I came to. And it turns out that they just don't have a quarterback. And that's
is it that or is it the offense?
I think even if the offense is bad, you can't look as bad as the QB play has been. You know what I mean?
He threw the ball 11 times. Like what
do you want him to do with it?
That's what I'm saying.
Which is true.
How can a quarterback even be
What's funny too is like their only success in that game. I was watching that game. Their only first downs came running the ball. Like they had success running the ball.
Monty looked good.
Yeah, he did. Like they had success running the ball. And so I said to myself, I kept saying like, run the ball, idiots. Like you need to run the ball. That's when you get first downs. That's all it's working. But then I look at the box score. I'm like, well, they did run. Like, why am I yelling? It didn't feel like it. Just felt like they didn't have the ball.
It was so weird. And he was still like, he was 7 for 11.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was okay, but it was like, and they're down the whole game. That was the craziest part is that they were down the whole game.
And you're not
still
throwing.
Only threw the ball 11 times. Like, what are we doing?
Like, to put it in context, I think it's even worse when you look at the statistics and not just the 7 for 11. Justin Fields had 70 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception. That's as bad as an NFL game as I've heard maybe in years.
But again, what's he supposed to do with
70
11
yards and a pick?
What's he supposed to do with 11?
It's true.
Pass attempts.
It's true. It's
just true. Like I'm besides Monty, like I think he's a clear play RB2. He can be good, but the offense has to move the ball for him to get into the red zone.
Well, you know, and Herbert gets a little bit of it, but Monty's getting half of Justin Fields' 7 completions per game. So,
I mean, that's true. That's true. It's crazy, man. Monty was on the
here's
field
another
like
way
80%.
to look at it. So Herbert and Montgomery had 3 catches combined. Darnell Mooney had 1 for -4. So that is 4 of our 7 passes either went negative or to a running back. So he completed 3 positive passes to non-running backs.
But it's
the
just
whole game, 3.
So again, that's where I keep saying, I'm like, what is the offensive coordinator doing? Like you have to make them throw the ball downfield.
I think it has to some degree, you have to, like, I agree with the assessment that, like, what do you want Justin Fields to do? And there's truth in that. I think this offensive coordinator knows Justin Fields better than we do. And if you don't trust him to throw the ball, that says a lot. But maybe he comes out this week and throws 30 times. Maybe they look at it and they're like, maybe they say the same thing. I can't imagine a professional coordinator saying this, but maybe they say, how do we only throw 11 times? And maybe they come out and the offense looks different. But I just think if a coordinator calls that game, there's a reason to me.
At that point, why are you even playing him? Like if you're
you are playing for a nice draft pick at this point.
Yeah, but
if that's the case.
Like who's their backup that
I actually don't know. Let me see.
I can't think of it right now. But it's just like, dude, if you don't trust the guy to throw the ball more than 10 times, what's going? I get you're trying to play for a draft pick, but
right.
I just don't know.
Trevor Siemian.
Okay. Like,
that's a passable backup. Not a good backup, but it's passable.
Like if you hate Fields that much, throw him in.
And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe a lot of this is just my frustration. Keep that in mind because I'm getting burned by 2 players I was really high on.
Me too.
Part of this is emotional, but it's like I'm sick of it. I'm real sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's playable besides Monty until like you sit back and wait. Okay, so if you have Justin Fields in like a 2 QB league,
it's a dynasty.
Yeah. Well, say it's like a super flex. How about a super flex? Like, are you playing him?
He's rosterable. No, I'm not playing him, but he's rosterable.
Are you playing Cooper Rush over him?
Let's say it's a 12-team super flex. So 24 potential starting quarterbacks. And there's always a few people that start something else. So there's probably 20 quarterbacks started in a 12-team super flex. I would say on a given week, he's not top 20 Fields to me.
Are you starting Cooper Rush over him?
No. I'm starting neither, I guess is probably my answer.
Okay.
If I guess I need to paint the picture that I'm in this situation, but like, even if you give me the likes of, like, if you tell me I have, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, and Justin Fields. Justin Fields is the one on the bench by quite a mile to me.
Yeah, a lot of the super flexes though, 3 quarterbacks are taken per team.
Yeah, so he's definitely rostered.
A lot of the playable quarterbacks you can't play him. So like, are you flexing him or are you flexing like an Adam Thielen?
It would be him over Adam Thielen. But if I had a really nice third receiver, like let's say that option instead of Adam Thielen was a Deontay Johnson. I don't know. Okay. That's a real question then. And I hate not flexing a quarterback in a super flex, but it's a real question then.
Yeah. Me too. It's rough out here in Chicago.
Yeah.
But he put up like 13, 14 points or something like that this week. And he was an inch away from another rushing touchdown. Mm-hmm. So he's showing.
He has that aspect. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he's showing that he's capable, I guess. Right. Like they want to run the ball.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's weird. Let's keep moving though. Other than Monty, don't play any bear. That's the assessment. Jags, Chargers. I mean, the Chargers, okay. I think we know who to play, right? Like you're playing Mike Will.
You ask Brian, and it might be a different answer, but yes. I think the question is Josh Palmer. I think that's the question.
The question is Palmer and Keenan Allen coming off the injury.
Yeah.
So what would you do with those two?
Keenan Allen's going to be a start for me. Now, I mean, I might downgrade him from his normal status, but to me, if Keenan Allen's active, he's one of those, top 12 receivers that if he's on the field, it takes some stones to not play him, one of those kind of deals to me. Are you playing Keenan?
Yes. I think if you have him, you put enough capital into him.
Yep.
That you're probably playing him.
Any interest in Palmer?
No.
I don't think for me either.
Unless you're in like a deep league.
Yeah. If someone really liked him, really likes the player like Brian does, and wanted to flex him. I mean, he had 8 targets last week, and we're talking in Keenan's absence. If Keenan plays this,
Keenan's got to be out.
Yep. I think he is edging into that flex territory, but it scares me. I'm not going to tell you I feel good about it.
Yeah, I'd be nervous. Because I said yesterday, like Carter didn't look bad, so it could be a Carter game instead of a Palmer game.
Easily, or it's just a Mike Will game. Those happen. Like there was games last year. Yeah, there's games last year where, nobody else caught more than 2 or 3 passes because Mike Will, like, he has a couple of those every year. Like, that's always a possibility.
Yeah. Okay, so Chargers defense is very good. I think we're learning that pretty quickly. Yep. Kept the Chiefs to like 230 some passing yards, which is wild.
Yep.
So Christian Kirk, are you considering sitting him just because of how good the defense is?
No. I think he's been good enough, and I was a Christian Kirk hater, so I gotta, this is one of those. I think he's good enough that you probably gotta flex him at a minimum at this point. Feels crazy to take him off your lineup.
I agree. He's been a stud. He looks very, very good.
Yep. Hold the T-Law though. Like I don't think I want T-Law in this matchup.
No, I wouldn't play T-Law. I would play Kirk. Evan Ingram. I don't think I'm touching him this week. Derwin James is amazing.
Do you want to know the situation where I'm touching him this week? Because I'm actually starting Evan Ingram. Now, I don't feel good about it, but you want to know who I'm starting him over that I drafted as my starter?
Who's that?
Shitty Cole Kmet. That's who I'm starting him over.
Yeah. I mean, go with Ingram on that one.
What could I do at that point?
Yeah. Derwin James, man, he's just like so good against the tight end. Every time he goes up against Kelsey, he holds him in check. He's just one of those players that he's a difference maker.
Right.
So if I can avoid Ingram, I'm avoiding him for sure.
Yep. I think that's fair.
ETN, not playing him.
Bench.
Right.
Gotta be on the bench.
James Robinson.
Gotta play him.
Right? He's
gotta play him.
Sixth in PPR.
You gotta play him.
Crazy times. Times. Other than
I
think,
you know, for the second time in his young career, he might be a league winner again, and I can't believe it.
Yeah, you get him super late, especially coming off the Achilles. Like,
yeah, he was like a $1-2 player in auction drafts.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those like, yeah, he could be all right. I'll take him in like the 10th round, see what happens.
Turns out at the moment he's a bell cow.
It's especially with ETN, like nobody wanted him.
It doesn't. Yeah. I know.
Feels weird.
It does.
Feels weird.
I'll tell you this though, if he's a league winner for a second year in his 3-year career, I'm not going to doubt James Robinson anymore. I'm going to get off.
No, I think he's RB2 minimum if he has another like good season
like that. Yep.
Yeah. Rams Cardinals. Cards defense, they've been terrible to say the least. So I think Henderson, right, is Henderson and Higbee. Let's talk about them and Cam Akers, because I think you're probably playing Allen Robinson just with the draft capital that you put into him.
You and I probably feel a little different on that. Okay. I'm not against Allen Robinson. Here's the thing. Week 1 was bad enough, and week 2 was good. Mm-hmm. He is in the seriously scares me territory still, you know? So
that was against the Bills, correct? Week 1.
Yes. Which is something. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. But the offense is clearly targeting Cooper Kupp a ton. They're clearly targeting Tyler Higbee a ton. Like there's still a chance that Allen Robinson's third fiddle. Now, third fiddle in this offense might be okay. And he might be second fiddle. I just don't know that we have enough football to know for sure yet. And so that gives me a little pause in terms of just saying, got to start Allen Robinson. I don't think it's quite to that point for me personally.
Okay. So are you trying to think? So who would you start over him? Like obviously Christian Kirk, I think, is an easy call.
I think you're talking the Christian Kirk, the Brandon Cooks, that area.
How about like Marquise Brown?
Yeah, I'd start Hollywood
while we're on this game. Marquise Brown over him.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fair.
What about you? Are you feeling like, where would you, if you were ranking today, where would you put Allen Robinson? I think we're probably a little different here.
Yeah, this week, just because of how bad the Cardinals defense is, like I'm not afraid to play him. I think he's a solid flex.
Okay.
Like I think he'll get you decent points. I don't think it'll be anything crazy, but they definitely tried to get him more involved week 2. Yeah, I think it'll kind of translate.
Still had 4 catches. The touchdown saved him to some degree.
I agree.
Yeah. But he might just score 10 touchdowns. We don't know that's not the case either.
He could just be kind of their red zone target.
Yep. It wouldn't shock you to see him be an Adam Thielen type of guy.
No, not at all. Because that's kind of his mold, right? Like he always seems to kind of get a ton of touchdowns.
That stud year, I think he had 14 of them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that was many years ago, but you don't score 14 touchdowns by accident. You've got a skill set that leans that way if you score 14 touchdowns. And
I think McVay's smart enough to know, like, hey, we got to keep getting him the ball to make him comfortable in the offense. Cam Akers, he was definitely on the field a lot more.
Yep.
Still sitting.
Honestly, my preference, and I've always been the Darrell Henderson guy, my preference is I really don't want to play either of them. That's honestly my preference. If I'm going to pick one, it's Henderson for me, because I do think Cam Akers gets the junk work. I think he's your between the 20s without the receptions. I think Henderson has shown he's going to get the red zone work. I think he's shown he's going to get the receiving work. I think his work is limited enough that it scares me, but Henderson gets the stuff I want,
Yes.
So if I got to play one, if somehow I own them both, it's Henderson, and it's not terribly close.
Henderson to me, man, I've said this a couple times. He's just one of those, kind of an RB2 that I love to have,
but hate to play maybe.
Yeah, it's always kind of nerve wracking, but he always comes away with at least 10 points, which for my RB2 I'm cool with. Like if he can get me double-digit points with like an upside of 20, it's kind of where I have him.
Yeah.
Week in and week out, he's just steady. I think he'll consistently be steady just because of how good the offense is.
Yeah. I think his 20-point games will be rare, which is kind of what you're saying. Yeah. That's what you're getting at. I feel the same way.
Like he'll never win you a week, but he won't lose you a week.
Yep.
Is where I'm at with him. Cam Akers can lose you a week. He might be able to win you a week. So for if I'm playing of the two, I want the consistency because neither of them are your RB1. Like you want your boom to be the RB1. So that's why
and
I'm fine
if it's a guy like Henderson, you can feel even better because you drafted him as your RB5.
100%. Yeah. And you can kind of wheel and deal and try to make other trades with some of the other players that you have.
Yep.
Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Right? He's
you got to do it. It's too
to
involved.
the point where he's like a must start, right?
Yep. He's definitely the top. I don't want to like go too far with it and be like, yeah, he's top 5. But I think he's clearly a top 12 tight end. So it definitely makes him a clear start to me.
Are you putting him in the category of like Zach Ertz?
Yep. It's that field of
right?
guys.
He's there.
It's that honestly, it's the section we all hate to some degree because they're just good enough to be a starter, but you're never happy with it. It's the like 6 to 12 guys.
Yeah, like again, he's not going to win you a week, but you didn't use a first round pick on Travis Kelce,
right?
Or Mark Andrews. If you don't have those two,
right?
Like you have to play him. You have to play him. Like he's a must play. I think unless you have obviously one of the
studs.
Like this,
and you could honestly you could because he was a throwaway, so you could have. Go ahead. You're probably going to say about what I was going to say.
I was going to say Kyle Pitts.
That's exactly what I was going to say because I knew you were a Kyle Pitts guy, so that's why I knew you were going there. I'm probably going to start Pitts, and it might be the wrong answer, but it's partly because I just keep thinking it's going to come. And I feel like I know what Higbee's ceiling is, and I don't with Pitts. But what's that for you this week? Is it Higbee this week for you?
I think this is the week that we're going to see a lot of Pitts.
Okay, yeah.
I've been kind of calling it. Like the first 2 weeks are going to be slow for him.
He's got the Seahawks.
Matchup wise,
that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, well, it's true. So for me, like this is a very big week for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
and I think I truly think this will be the week that, if you haven't attempted to try to trade for him, like you're gonna miss out because I think he's gonna have one of those weeks where it's like, oh shit, like Kyle Pitts.
Let's take we got a good comment here for the game tonight. I want to hit. I want your thoughts on it. It's a good one here.
What do we got?
So we got somebody here late to the show, but they want to know: are we starting or sitting Amari Cooper for the game tonight? What do you think?
I just spoke on it. The weather's terrible. It's 30 mile per hour winds. Like if you can afford to sit him with somebody that's good, like I would sit him.
Yeah. So if you take weather out of it, for me, Amari sits directly in the flex category right now. He's got one terrible game. He's got one really nice game.
I think I'm a little higher. Like I think moving forward, if the weather's fine and he's not going up against one of the premier cornerbacks, I think he's a wide receiver 2 consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen enough out of Jacoby Brissett the first 2 weeks where he's not bad. Like he'll get the ball. He's serviceable enough to make.
He's not going to take the top off of this offense, but he's serviceable.
Yeah, and that's not Amari's game, right? So like, I mean, it kind of is to an extent, but he
has Devonta Smith. That's his other option.
Who are they playing this week? Let's see.
We talked about it last night, didn't we? Who was it?
Shit, I should know.
We talked about it last night. I should remember too.
Yeah, I should know this. Regardless, I'd probably go Devonta.
I'm leaning that direction too.
I'd probably go Devonta.
I'm trying to go back and see who it was.
I'm not scared of him at all. To be honest.
It's the Commanders.
Devonta.
I think it's Devonta too, but it's just because of weather. Like if you take the weather out of it, I think of those two, Cooper's the start. Now, there's times receivers have good games in bad weather, but this wind is scary for a quarterback.
That's the thing. I think it's going to be a lot of even if he catches 6-7 balls, which he very well probably will. I think he'll still catch a lot of balls.
It's underneath stuff.
Exactly. It's not going to be down the field 20 yards like it was last week.
This is a close one though, because if you just take weather out of it, I'll take Cooper. So, I'm letting weather sway my decision over to Devonta. And so
which is fair.
Anytime it's scary to go out on that limb, but
it's fair though. Like it's gross enough out. I'm like, it's definitely terrible outside. Like I've been outside a lot today and it's not a good situation. Okay.
Cool.
Cardinals. So we're on Cardinals. We just talked. Yeah. We were talking Rams a lot there, huh?
We did. we gotta do better.
No, it's all right.
This game's coming. We got to do better, Robbie.
If Connor plays, are you playing him?
He's another one of those guys. It depends what you have. I think he's a fine play. I'm not disgusted to play James Conner. I'm not at that point with it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. He's gonna get 25, totes, and he'll get some
You're
receptions.
banking on a touchdown. It's what it always is with James Conner. You're banking on a touchdown, and those are hard spots to be in. But
yeah, you would think it's gonna be a high scoring game with the two offenses. So I still think Connor. I think he's a solid play. You already spoke on Marquise Brown.
Yeah,
you said you're not afraid to play him, even with Ramsey out there. You're cool with it.
Yeah, I probably don't avoid corners quite as much as Mario does sometimes. And maybe that's negligence on my part, but I'm playing him.
Okay. How about
it can sway my rankings, but it doesn't usually sway who I'm going to start usually.
That's fair. I think Ertz obviously is a must start too. Besides, especially where you took him, he's your number one.
PPR machine. He had 8 catches last week.
Yeah, and I think that's going to continue.
Yeah.
At least until Hopkins is back. I still think he's going to get a ton of targets. Deep leagues, like a 14-teamer, or you're starting, like 3 receivers and a couple flexes. Greg Dortch.
It's fine. I mean, I just think it's fine. It's one of those where in no way am I ever going to get excited to slide Greg Dortch into my starting lineup. That's my struggle.
I mean, he looked
I feel like
good.
It's a desperation. I feel like it's a little more desperation than I got to get Greg Dortch out there.
I think a lot of people are there though. Like it's been okay.
It's a great run.
How about this? You have Greg Dortch and Darnell Mooney.
If it's a 12-team league, I mean, this is a classic Cody answer that some of you guys hate, but neither is an option.
Fair. Okay. What if it's not? So what if it's not?
What if it's not? Right. It's Dortch. It's Dortch.
Right.
And I'm done. I'm done with Mooney until Justin Fields figures out how a football feels in his hands.
Oh, that's where we're at right now. It's so wild. Yep. So wild. Okay, Falcons, Seahawks.
Let me ask. I know I'm slowing us down now, but I think there's one more thing we should hit there. If James Conner doesn't play, are you playing or Darrell Williams?
I'm not.
Agreed. You just don't know who it is. You don't know who it is.
And the defense is good enough where even if you do, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of that. Okay. Falcons, Seahawks. I talked on Kyle Pitts. I think this is going to be the week where he puts up. I think it's going to be a point to get the guy the ball. It's going to be a point for him to get involved with this offense. I think he's going to have a game. So
here's the biggest question on that I have.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for Drake London? Because Drake London has all of a sudden become the real thing.
I'm still fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Mariota and that offense can support them both?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. Kyle Pitts did all his damage without touchdowns. So I still think they'll both get a ton of targets. My prediction for the rest of the season for this offense is going to be a ton of Kyle Pitts and Drake London. That's kind of, I had that projected coming into the season anyways.
Yeah.
So everyone else might take a hit. I always mess the dude's name up.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, that dude, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
So he might not be involved at all. He'll be out there running wind sprints. Right. But the other two guys are going to get the ball a ton, which is what you want. And if you took them.
Is Drake London, is he starting to toy with wide receiver 2 territory?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right at that cusp. Because he is still a rookie and he's still got Marcus Mariota thrown to him, But he's there.
He's at least you have to flex the guy. He's Agreed. A start. You have to start him.
Yeah, I think he's starting to toy with that. Definitely a flex, and I'm flexing him. I'm not maybe quite ready to put him into the wide receiver 2 talk, but statistically he's there. He's got 13 catches for 160 yards and a TD. So he's averaging 7 catches, 80 yards, and half a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean,
it's there.
I don't know, I guess if you, again, maybe if you took Darnell Mooney as your wide receiver 2.
Oh, I'd start London over Darnell Mooney.
That's no question. I'm just trying to think a lot of people have Drake London and they're flexing him, but solely because you took him so late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's still, like, him flexing might be better than your wide receiver 2 option, but it's just kind of like namesake at that point.
Right.
You know, like Allen Robinson or Brandon Cooks, like those kind of players, like we'll pencil them in as your wide receiver 2, but you're starting Drake London over them.
Agreed. Yeah,
right?
That's a great way of looking at that. When you talk about, hey, he's a flex, and then you look at those other players we talked about as wide receiver 2/flexes, I'll take Drake London over those guys.
Yeah, like, I mean,
those are 2 perfect ones.
Amari Cooper, like he's probably going to be your wide receiver 2 just where you took him, but I'd probably start Drake London over Amari Cooper, no questions, moving forward.
Drake London, I tell you, so here's the deal. We just said, we just kind of talked ourselves into saying, it's almost like we didn't want to commit to it. And we're like, he's a flex. He's a flex. But then we just put him over all these guys that are at the wide receiver 2 flex area. Like, Drake London might just be a wide receiver 2.
He didn't even have a great game 1.
No,
like he did good.
Like 5 for 60, maybe
something like that. But like it's just good, the involvement that he is, like he's getting involved, and he looks like it's the eye test too, man. He just looks like the real deal. He's getting open downfield. He's a lot faster than people anticipated.
Right.
With him coming in, he's a big body. Right. Like him and Kyle Pitts are going to fight for touchdowns on this team, just because they're both 12 huge. Of them. Exactly. That's the scary part. Like they're both kind of limited at that capacity, but they can both put up over 100 receptions, in my opinion. Like I think that's definitely, maybe not 100, like 90 plus receptions and over 1,000 yards. I think that's doable for both of them.
I think where I feel safer saying they're both going to be 1,000-yard weapons this year, which I think that's true.
Right. Like, I mean, which is, if that's your tight end and your flex play, like, geez.
Yeah.
I want those 2 in the offense. Cordell Patterson, Seahawks defense sucks against the run. I think he's in line for a big game as well, to be honest. I
think that's a fine play.
I think you're playing him. No questions on this week for sure. Moving forward, we can kind of discuss that later, but I think this week for sure he's a play. Seahawks, anybody?
So I drafted DK Metcalf some places because I wanted DK Metcalf to be, well, you kind of heard my story. Like, hey, does Tyler Lockett go away? Like, I know the offense isn't going to be what it was, but does Tyler Lockett just not become a thing? And it's just wide receiver 1, DK Metcalf in not as good of an offense. And that has not played out, but he also hasn't been necessarily horrific. Now, what he's missed is the big plays and the touchdowns. But his receptions, like he's been heavily involved. So now Tyler Lockett was much better in week 2. And I guess I'm kind of just talking in circles, but like, I guess I don't want to start either ideally.
He's probably 47th.
It is lower than I thought. I figured he'd be
47th.
Yeah.
Olamide Zacchaeus was the dude I was talking about.
Yeah, that's Falcons. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I keep kind of throwing this in my head, Drake London or him. Like, I'm playing Drake London.
It's Drake London, yeah.
Drake London or CD Lamb.
Drake London? That one's close. That's close.
It's so.
But like, even the fact that that's close.
That's where we're at with Drake London, man. He's proven he's the real deal. Other than like, are you playing Rashad Penny?
I don't know what we can take away from the 49ers game. That's what's hard.
100%.
I want to play Rashad Penny week 1. But a game where they lost by, 20 points, and they only ran the ball 10 times. I just can't, like, the whole team ran the ball 10 times. Now, Ken Walker's back, and he got some burn. So this is now, to some degree, a timeshare. It's not a real timeshare, but Ken Walker got, some burn for sure.
They both kind of.
I think Penny's probably still a low-end RB2. I think you have to throw week 2 out. Like, you lost the game 27-7. Your offense didn't go. I don't think it's time to bail. But,
are you ready to put in like a Breece Hall over him? Tony Pollard?
No, I don't think so.
You're still running with
I think Penny. I think I would probably run Penny again if I'm staring at those 3 guys. But it's one of those deals where it's not so much that I'm worried that like that mix could swing. Like if I see Penny get 6 carries again, I'll be done.
Yeah.
That's the part that I need to see come back is the touches,
like 25 touches. Yeah.
And I don't even know if it has to be 25, but it can't be 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's scary town.
Yeah, he's like for me, he's a better version of Josh Jacobs. Where he should get like 20 to 25 touches a game, around 80 to 90 yards, and hopefully he finds the end zone and he's a great play. But if he doesn't,
here's the part that scares you along kind of what you're saying. If he has the touches, he's going to get you there. So week 2, I actually am just looking at it. Rashad Penny had 6 touches.
It was like 12 yards.
Ken Walker had 6 touches. But wait, there's more. Travis Homer had 6 touches.
Homer, right? But you got, I mean, for me, I'm still throwing that out just because of how quickly it was a blowout.
I am too.
You know what I mean?
It was three-way split that's perfectly even. It's like, okay, let's not do this again.
Especially with a Rashad Penny, like his injury history. Like if I'm Seattle and I'm getting blown out, Penny sit the hell down because we're going to need you the rest of the year.
And I've always been in the camp where I want Rashad Penny. I want 15 to 18 touch Rashad Penny, not 25 touch Rashad Penny. So I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. It just can't be 6.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, moving on. Packers Bucks. Clearly for Green Bay, we know that Dylan, Aaron Jones, easy plays, right? Even though this defense is good. Like you can't sit those two.
Agreed.
Other than that, like,
where you at on Lazard?
I can't touch him, man. I can't touch him, especially like he came back and then I was watching the game. I think it was like the first or second quarter. He goes hobbling off the field. You know, like until he's fully healthy and he's getting involved in this offense, like I will probably miss out on his big first game.
Yeah,
but I can't play him until I see it because like he had 3 targets.
He had 3 targets, and I don't think he even hit 20 yards. I think he had like 18 yards or 13 yards.
It's just like how
like that.
I can't.
There's a touchdown, and so it's a little bit of like that's gonna pull some people in because he probably had 9. What would that be? Probably had 9 points ish, and it's just enough for people to be like, yeah, I think I'll go back to that. But it's as ugly as 9 points gets.
I still think he's hurt.
Yeah,
is where I'm at. That's why I don't want to touch him because. You know, the wrong twist of an ankle, he's out quarter 1, play 1.
Yep.
You get a 0. Like I just want to make sure he's healthy. See that he's getting even there's the part about that game too that sucked is like he got hurt so early that you really don't know how they're going to use him.
Yep.
So like you don't know his involvement in this offense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers talks about how much he loves him, but it's like
we got to see it.
We have to see what it's going to be.
8 guys caught passes this week to what you're saying. Like it's just too spread out.
Yeah. Not good for fantasy.
Nope.
Robert Tonyan dropping.
I'm still holding, but I'm probably being a sucker.
I think they're kind of slowing him in after the ACL. He went from he was snap share. I think it was 32% week 1. Week 2 was 40 something %. So I think they're kind of slowly getting him back to speed.
I'm ready to see a touchdown because that's really you're not taking him. You're not chasing receptions or yards with him. It's touchdowns, and so I'm ready to see a touchdown. That's what I need to see.
Yeah. He within the next 2 weeks, he needs to have a good game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's droppable. Okay, Bucks. No Mike Evans. Obviously, Godwin. We don't know. Correct.
Don't know. Yep. That's right.
Julio's dinged up.
Yep.
Julio's dinged up. Still, he's probably going to play. What are we thinking?
He is likely to get called up from the practice squad.
How involved can he be just getting signed there?
Here's what it is for me. If they didn't sign Cole Beasley, I don't want Cole Beasley, but I think Cole Beasley is a bit of a nuisance for other options in Mike Evans' absence. You know what I mean?
Such as Julio?
I could see maybe Julio, but he's dinged up. I guess I'm even thinking like a Scotty Miller. I could see this being a Scotty Miller game right up until Cole Beasley came walking through the doors.
That's the thing. I don't know who this game could be. We saw it against the Saints, who had a good game.
The fantasy answer is no.
Nobody, right?
Yep.
You wouldn't touch anybody on this offense.
I guess Julio, if he seems healthy, is the play, I suppose. It's hard not to start somebody, but there's no strong guess at who it is.
It's just one of those games where I don't want to touch. I mean, I think Lenny's obviously still playable, but he's going to get a front-loaded box, which is crazy against the Tom Brady-led offense. it's just like you're gonna play Lenny. Other than that, even if Julio's playing, I would try to avoid him if I could. Say Julio plays and you got a bunch of other scrubs out there, like they're gonna double Julio, and then it's just a tough go.
I almost died.
I saw that.
So did you see what I did?
What were you? No.
Well, as soon as the first cough came and I knew it was going to be real bad, I just yanked the cord to my mic.
I was wondering what was going on. I saw your hands flying around.
Yeah, no, I was yanking the cord. Also trying to find air, but priority yanking the cord. No, honestly, I'm with you. Like, it feels really gross, but it's not unlike the Aaron Rodgers situation. Like, Aaron Rodgers is just as good as Tom Brady now, and we just said we're not starting Aaron Rodgers receivers. So as gross as it feels to not start a Tom Brady receiver, it's where we're at.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm playing the running backs in this game, but I'm not touching any other player.
Yep.
Wild.
It's probably a big Lenny game, a real big Lenny game.
Which sucks because if Mike Evans was there, dude, like he would be.
I mean, this is a 7 for 160 game for Mike Evans.
Yes, it sucks. Niners, Broncos. Jimmy G's back. Obviously, Kittle.
It's good news for the receivers, guys.
Kittle looks like he's going to play.
Yes, agreed.
But I think it'll be game time. And then the receivers. So, are you playing both receivers? I think Debo's obviously a play. Are you playing Ayuk? And then if Kittle plays, are you playing Kittle?
Kittle, yes, but mostly because if you own George Kittle, you probably have the draft capital invested and don't have another good option. So, if you own Kittle, you're probably that Evan Ingram owner.
How about Kittle and Higbee?
I guess maybe that one's Higbee. It's close.
Yeah,
it's close. I guess if somebody's fortunate enough to have pulled that one off, but I think most of those people are probably staring at Logan Thomas, Ingram. Yep, that group. And give me Kittle. I don't want to keep your 7 points, Evan Ingram.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Ayuk. What do you think Ayuk is?
Yeah,
a flex or no?
I think he's a flex. I think he's not in the doghouse like he's been in previous seasons. He's shown good connection with Jimmy G the back half of the last 2 seasons. So he could be like a sneaky, like really good play moving down for the rest of the season. It also helps that Mitchell's out because Debo's going to get a lot more work in the backfield.
Yeah.
So he won't be running routes as much as he normally does.
Yeah, Debo's been getting his, 4 to 6 carries. That's still been the norm.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, it's mostly because Mitchell's out. In my opinion, I think they wouldn't have done it as much. But Jeff Wilson, you playing him?
Yes, I'm okay with Jeff Wilson. I will say I've got like a smidge of Davis Pierce worry. I'm not going to say love because I don't think I like Davis Pierce, the player. I don't think. But I am worried he could eat into Jeff Wilson.
Is he hurt or no?
If he is, I missed it. But I think
I could be wrong.
He pretty much went. He pretty much was even on touches with Jeff Wilson last week.
Yeah, he was, which was interesting to see.
Didn't do that much with it, but he's a threat to the work. But regardless, Jeff Wilson is a play to me.
I think
he's a low end RB2, but he's a play.
He's for sure the play of the 2, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a Davis Price being a threat to Wilson than actually being
just a nuisance.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with Jeff Wilson as like an RB2 flexible.
Low end RB2.
I would like, if I'm hoping I have better options, but if you have Elijah Mitchell and you spent a bunch of fab on getting him, like he's probably going to be your play, which is, I'm okay with it. I don't love it, but I'm not mad. Broncos, I think Cortland Sutton is like he's going to be the consistent receiver in this offense. So I think he's an easy play kind of moving forward. Jerry Jeudy, we still don't know what's going on with him. They haven't announced anything yet, so I don't know if he's going to play.
I like Sutton a lot in Judy's absence.
100%.
You and I probably have a little different Sutton feelings overall. Like Jeudy was the guy week 1, so somebody could just as easily say.
But Sutton still had a good game.
Good-ish. Was like 4 for.
He was fine. He had like 12 points.
Was it 12? I was thinking it was like 9, but
it was around. Yeah. even if it's 9, like that's fine for not really being too involved. And I think that'll be the low end of where he's at.
Maybe. I mean, you drafted him as a low end wide receiver too, and I don't know. I think that's still where he's at to me. I'm not ready to catapult him based on anything I've seen so far. To me,
well, for me,
I think the offense has been dysfunctional, and I think the split has been pretty even outside of a Judy injury. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, but that's big, a Judy injury. Like
it is. Well, yeah. I guess I'm operating as if it's short term.
Even if he's on the field, like even if he's on the field, the dude is constantly banged up.
He is. It's true.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, this isn't a like vouch for Jerry Jeudy. Like I don't want Jerry Jeudy either. It's just
if he plays, are you comfortable playing Jeudy? Or are you waiting a week?
No, I'm waiting.
Me too. Are we scared of Russ yet?
He's in the flex area. I shouldn't be so quick to just say don't play him.
They went kind of bang in a lot of drafts, like 5th-ish, both of them.
Yeah, it's still okay to me. To me, they are kind of bang. Like I see him that way.
Yeah.
So that doesn't maybe. Yeah.
I'm cool with. I get what you're saying.
But I don't want Judy. Like this isn't a like. Don't play Judy this week. This isn't a play Judy. It's a smash Courtland Sutton. Like you put in the notes, you said smash Sutton if Judy doesn't play. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally. Agree.
Yeah. Are we scared of Russ?
Yeah.
Yet. You're scared, right?
Yeah. Yep. Sure I am.
Yeah, he's one of those players where now I'm considering, like, in the back of I keep throwing this guy out there as Carson Wentz. Like, maybe not who are the Commanders playing?
Eagles.
So that's a tough. Like Kirk Cousins. Like, you might have Russ.
Maybe I'm not as out. Maybe I'm not as out on Russ as I thought because I still want Russ over those guys. I think
Kirk against Detroit.
Yeah, I mean. Are you going Kirk there?
I'd probably go Kirk.
Really?
Be close, but like it's tough to sit Russ, man. It's like the guy is so good. We know what he is. It's just something's not clicking in the offense.
I agree with that. I mean, they put up 16 points against the Texans.
Yeah,
like it isn't good.
Yeah. Russ is a tough decision for me this week. I hope he comes back and has a really good game against a tough 49ers defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I see it happening. So they have a lot to clean up there.
If I own Russ as my quarterback, I no longer feel like I have the 5 to 8 guy I thought I had. I think I now have an 8 to 12 guy,
which sucks.
Yeah,
which sucks. Okay, last game to get to. We got the cup, and then we'll get you guys out of here before this Browns game. Cowboys Giants Monday night. Cooper Rush. We already kind of spoke about this. 2 QB leagues. You're not playing them.
No, I'm not. I mean, there's exceptions to that, but he
like
would
if you pick him up for Dak,
you're
probably playing him.
Yep.
Noah Brown is an interesting play to me in deep leagues, especially if Gallup doesn't play.
Yeah, as soon as Gallup's back, I think this is all a mess. But yeah.
Even first week with Gallup, I don't think he's going to get a lot of run. So I'd be okay with Noah Brown, like in a deeper league, kind of as a flyer. I'm fine with it.
I can see that.
But it's not great. Like CD looked fine last week with Cooper Rush. So I'm still like, you got to play him. I don't see how you don't. Tony Pollard and Zeke, like, where are you at with those 2 guys right now?
So... And you're actually the resident. I'll be interested to hear what you think. To me, it's still it's Zeke. To me, I think Tony Pollard had a good game. I think it was kind of the classic Tony Pollard game, not the Tony Pollard taking over game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think he has more value with Cooper Rush.
Okay.
I think Cooper Rush
that thought.
is kind of going to check down a lot more, and Pollard will be in on those downs where he's going to have to check down.
Yeah.
And I mean, for what it's worth, man, a young quarterback, an experienced quarterback coming in, Pollard made the plays where he's going to get the confidence from the quarterback.
Yeah.
So like
he kind of save him on a few.
He might be looking for Pollard a little bit more than he would just because Pollard made those plays for him the first week that he was in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you see Pollard as this week?
Flex low end 2 running back.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm not ready to say like I think he'll get another like 12 points.
Yeah, it was a bad enough week 1 that I like that you're sort of right there, because you can make the argument, hey, he's, AJ Dillon territory-ish.
I'm not there yet to say like
I
high end
agree.
RB2. I'm not there yet.
Yep.
If he has another really good game with Cooper Rush, and again, like it looks like Cooper Rush is looking for him and he's getting all the pass work, which he did week 2, then we can have another conversation. But I definitely want to see it again this week.
Agreed.
The Giants defenses look decent too, to be honest. Like they don't look bad.
Weird thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was the Panthers and who else? Who'd they play week 1?
Good question.
Let me think. I guess I can.
Too many games going on in my head.
I know, they all run together eventually.
Titans.
So Titans, they're struggling, but it's still a good offense. And you're right. Yeah. The defense has been fine.
Zeke.
Yeah, you're starting him. No, I think you start him. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think so, huh?
He scares me, dude.
Really?
Scares me. Let's look up here. I'm just getting his snap share really quick. If I can find it. Oh no, he was 60%. 15 rushes, 2 targets, which isn't good for Zeke. Like Zeke makes his money on targets as well. He had a good route participation at 56%. It's not terrible for a running back. I think this offense is going to be a lot more 50-50 between the two.
Really, he needs touchdowns, and I agree. I agree with what you said there. Like, he's getting less receptions. Zeke feasted for a couple years on big reception numbers, and nobody really talked about it.
Yeah.
But he caught a ton of passes.
He would get 50, 60.
I was going to say 60 some balls 1 year, I think he caught. And he's not
50.
having that. Yeah. He's not having that. So I agree with you. I think that hurts, but I think Zeke is still a starter unless he somehow can't score touchdowns anymore. Like 17 touches is still a running back you start in fantasy to me. Now, he needs touchdowns. That hasn't happened. There's truth.
It's scary, dude. I mean, he makes me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. He makes
the lows can be low. No touchdown, no receptions. The lows can be low. It's true.
If I had both of them, I would have a hard conversation. I would have a hard decision to make between the two for me personally.
Yeah, it'd be Zeke for me. But I get what you're saying. Like, I can understand.
No, yeah. I get both sides of the coin.
Right.
I definitely like a pass catching back as opposed to a back that's like a Josh Jacobs. Like, I want 0 shares of that guy.
And maybe I'm being negligent here because like maybe there's a scenario, and I don't think we're here yet to me, but maybe this is a Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers situation where like Zeke is getting that Cam Akers work. Maybe that ends up being the case. I think Zeke is the running back right now, which does hurt because you don't get receptions, but I still think he's the touchdown guy, the red zone guy.
I'm excited to watch this game and see how it plays out with the snap share.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Giants, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Is that it? Sterling Shepard,
No, not for
me. Do you want him on your roster?
Sometimes there's guys that make me think too much and they fool me too often, and I just don't want to own him for that reason. And he's kind of one of those guys. He is rosterable. Yes. Yeah. So like Sterling Shepard should be rostered.
Yeah.
I don't want him on my team because he's a guy who could fool me.
I get it. I'm there with you. I don't have him on any roster. I wouldn't be mad at if he's on the like back end of my roster. Him and Jacoby Myers, I'm cool with them, but I don't want them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you, the one player I'll say I'm gonna surprise, and I don't think this yet, but everybody keep your eye on Richie James.
Okay.
I know it's random, but he's got 10 catches on the year.
Okay. You heard it here first, everybody. Richie James, go pick him up.
Not as long as Daniel Jones is thrown to him, though.
Drop your wide receiver 1. He's ready to roll. So we've made it. It's time for the Browns and Steelers Thursday night. I mean, Cody. This week has been a blast, buddy. I mean, I had a lot of fun with you, with Brian last night, with all the other guys. Mario needs to go out of town more often. So
he could just stay in Vermont.
Yeah, he can
let
retire.
Vermont have him. Him and his Hallmark movies.
Him and his 1G internet.
Goodbye.
For Rob, it's Cody. Check us out on Twitter. our YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Cody's getting it over here. We're on Spotify, Apple iTunes, all the good stuff. Go watch this game. Have fun, everybody. We'll see you after week 3.
See you guys.